So I was talking to this guy about Bitcoin because he really likes investing and that was one of the things that he liked doing in his free time. So I asked him what he liked doing in his free time, and one of the first things he said was investing. And I was thinking, investing? That's what you like to do in your free time? You think that's fun? So he explained it more, and he was talking about how you can make a ton of money investing, and he was rock solid certain that Bitcoin was gonna uh, go up in price, and it always goes up in price historically, and sometimes it'll dip, but then it'll go up again, and maybe it will. And he was trying to get as much Bitcoin as possible, and he invested all this money, and he got rid of a lot of his savings to invest all this money. And it just made me think about like how certain types of people who can end up making a lot of money because they invest a ton and the stock skyrockets or whatever, how risk tolerant they are. Because like he was so confident that this thing would only rise in price and that he'd be fine and everything would work out and that the universe would accommodate him and this and that. And I should use the deer. You need to respect the deer. No, I don't need venison, though. I've disrespected the deer. Uh, I don't know. I'm just, I'm just not like that. Um, like, what if we get into war, or what if, like, there's so many different ways that things can go wrong. Um, or like, what if you need that money for like a medical emergency? And then you just invested it all, and then it happened to lose a bunch of money off of that week, and then maybe next week it would gain a lot, but that week you needed it because you had a medical emergency. Like it just seems kind of baffling to me that people are like this and that they're so certain about things. I guess just as a perpetually uncertain person, um, it's just kind of confusing to me how you could even think like that. Uh, and it seems like investing and the CEO types who are just like, let's do this radical shakeup and totally risk it all. And you'll hear about the CEO types who do that and it works, but you don't hear as much about the CEO types, probably much more numerous, who do the same thing and it completely crashes and burns, and then they burn off all their savings, and then their family goes into debt, and then they get a divorce, and then they kill, then they off themselves, etc. Like, you're not going to hear as much about that, presumably. um it's just I don't know. I feel like a lot of progress in the world is made in some ways because people are overconfident in their stuff. So like, yeah, you can make a lot of money if you just are like, oh, it's going to work out because it's going to work out. And that's the only reason I need. And I don't care that that argument makes literally no sense logically because it's tautology, because I don't know what tautology means. And, I'm really cool. Uh, it's a strange way to think. And I've tried talking with these people and trying to figure out the train of thought there, and it's just confidence all the way down. Like they're just sure. Um, and if you start questioning their confidence, they usually just get irritated with you. Um, and then they want to stop the conversation. Like if you can even get that far, where you do question their confidence, uh, they'll just get annoyed because they'll be like, "Well, how could you possibly question me? Because I know everything." That kind of thing. And they wouldn't openly say that, um, but I feel like the background process that's going on, like uh, the application that's being run in the background of their brain is that basically it's they're just sure that this must be a thing. Um, and it makes you wonder if that's how a lot of these successful ideas and whatnot happen, is just because you're just sure and you don't have enough evidence, but you're sure anyway. And that's why you make a YouTube channel, because you're sure that people are going to want to listen to you, or you start a, I don't know, you start writing a book because you're heckin' sure that people want to listen. Um, I suppose I could use that logic on myself, because why did you start a YouTube channel? Well, you were sure that people were gonna, but I wasn't sure. I figured I should just try it anyway, just to see what happens. Um, because I don't know. I've had a lot of people talk to me in my life, and they said like, "Oh wow, you should really start uh, uh, I don't know, a podcast or a YouTube channel or something, because you already have all these crazy takes." But the thing is, like, crazy takes don't really get you that far, because most people don't want to hear crazy takes, or they're not necessarily gonna like subscribe to a channel. I mean, I suppose you could do like oh, okay. Well, there he goes. I'm sorry to hear that. See, that is what can happen to you. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a good example. I didn't even script that. So, like, well, I don't script any of this, but so you can just die, you know? Like, you can just, your life just ends. You have all these plans, everything's going well. You're exploring this cave, and then you just die, you know? Like, it seems like people don't really account for that, and instead they just kind of keep going, and they keep risking, and they're like, ah, well, if I do this risk now, then it'll pay off later. But what if you get hit by a bunch of rocks, man? I don't feel like I'm making a very good point here, but anyway, back to what I was saying. Um, I can't remember what I was saying. Some people were thinking that, yeah, like you should do content creation, but like you gotta you gotta be sure that like you have an audience. Um, I don't know. This is the thing, though. I suppose this could be my content creation, is just talking about how life is full of unknowns, and nobody really knows what they're doing here. And I'm just making these videos just to make these videos, and I'm just doing like a stream of consciousness. And then if people want to watch that, then great. If they don't, then cool. Uh, but you do have to take a risk to get anywhere. It's just surprising the level of risk people are willing to do, um, and the level of certainty that they have, especially when investing, because we could get in wars, uh, that kind of thing, and they just assume that it's just gonna work out. It's just gonna all be groovy in the end. So I feel like it could just be the difference between like positive thinking and more like depressive thinking of I just don't take it for granted that things are just going to work out. That is not just a baseline assumption that I have. Like things might work out or they might not. Or you might be like that one guy with the rocks and you just die. Or you might have a horse chasing or a unicorn. I didn't know there were unicorns in this game. Or you might have a unicorn chasing you and a minotaur and a wolf and you don't have any healing because you're the Atronach uh uh Atronach thing because you thought you could help out with um thought you could be a good mage against mages because you could absorb their magic, but instead you have three things chasing you that are all trying to kill you, and you have nowhere to go except for an open field. And hopefully they'll get distracted by this deer. But oh, look at that, they won't. See, that's the thing, is like the level of confidence that these people have. They'll be like, oh, it'll just work out with the deer, but it didn't. And now I'm still running. And this is like a good metaphor for life because you just, okay, well, here it kind of works out because now it's just the wolf. Apparently, the deer and or the did it just drown. Where'd it go? God, I can't friggin' see anything. Is this the kind of content you want, YouTube? Is this what you want? What do you need from me?